Well, we may not have trailer 3, but we do have all the biggest news about GTA 6 from this past week. We're going to be talking pricing, deluxe features, and empty boxes.
And if you like pricing and features, well, you're in luck because we finally got news on the release of the Steam machine. We have all that information and a whole bunch more right now on Gaming News Weekly. What's up, everybody? It's time for another episode of Gaming News Weekly, the best weekly video game news show out there. Every single week, we're bringing you all the biggest news from the video game industry. You can find us on YouTube, podcast services everywhere, and TikTok. We're back on TikTok, baby. Killing it as usual. My name is E-Rock the Red. As always, joined by this gentleman right here, Mr. Full Clip. What is going on, dude? How are you?
Doing pretty good. And yourself?
I'm great. I was just telling you before we started that today is like it's a neighborhood event where it's called Porch Fest. All these bands play on people's porches throughout the whole neighborhood, and you just start drinking real early in the day, and that's where I'm at right now. So I'm very hot, and I'm like, I would say just like borderline drunk.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this goes. I expect great things. And yeah, if I pass out during the show, you know, it's fine. My wife will find me at some point.
We'll cut it together.
The combination of the heat and the drinking. So
yeah, we'll just take your earlier footage and loop it back, mute it. I'll just keep talking. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think that's a great idea. But we got a lot of exciting news to talk about this week. So, you know, that's why we're here. We're here doing it. I got my big pint of water, and we're just gonna take it. We're just gonna take it easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're just gonna take it easy. ASMR voices for the rest of the show. You've been playing any video games or doing anything fun?
Let's see. I think I already talked about TCG Card Shop Simulator. That's all I've been playing. I've got a ridiculous amount of hours in it already for as often as I actually have to play games. So I'm getting up there. I'm like shop level 66, I think. Player level 69. Nice. And you know, I think I've just about got everything in the game unlocked. Once I hit like 70, that might be the final unlock or something. But yeah, enjoying like a lot of the stuff that wasn't in the game when it very first came out. And I've seen a lot of people saying that they're wanting to get back into it because all like the tabletop stuff that's been added, new like tournaments and stuff like that. That's been kind of fun. Just it gives you a little more variety. I can go and I can take like shop items, put it all onto this podium, set what the prizes are. So first prize might get like a $300 card from my collection, a placemat, a plushie, and a few packs of like really good cards. And then you got second place, third place in your top 8. And depending on the price of like the value of all of those prizes that you're giving away for that tournament, you can set like an entry fee so you can make sure that you're making profit off of it.
Oh,
and
nice.
it's kind of like you're selling just a little bit of product at the same time, but you get like XP and stuff for the tournament as well. So there's a lot of little fun additions in there.
There's
Looking forward to
that they've added. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I really don't know, like I still feel like I'm so far from ever being able to 100% this game as far as the achievements go. May not happen. I'm just going to be honest.
Dude, every time I look at like activity on Steam, the app or whatever, like you're on there, like you got like 4 or 5 new achievements. Like it's always, you just keep popping achievements for TCG Player or whatever it's called. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I talked about it last week, Steam Next Fest demos, and I had a few more that I was enjoying. I'm going to talk about a couple more real fast. One of them being a game called Blood Dungeon. Now, this is it's like a hand-drawn game from the guy that created Nidhogg. Did you ever play Nidhogg?
No.
Nidhogg is a very simple game about like where it's like a sword fighting game. And it's just like you just go back and forth. It's hard to explain, but basically you're just sword fighting. And it's a great game. So this one I was excited for when I saw it. I think it was during Summer Games Fest. They announced it. And it's basically just a Survivors style game where it's like auto fire. You control this little like tiny hand-drawn baby that just runs around like it's more platforming. So it's like 2D, but it's platforming. There's ladders and platforms and everything. So it's not you're just running around on a flat map. It's like you gotta traverse, there's water you gotta go under, and you're avoiding these waves of monsters as they're coming at you. But it's the same thing. You find treasures, you upgrade your stuff. It's very much a Survivor like, but just on a platforming thing. There's you're parkouring everywhere. You're climbing up walls. There's ladders. There's fences. Like everything. And then there's all these upgrades you get to like make your build better. And then ultimately it's a roguelike. You die and you have new stuff for your next run. That is a lot of fun because it's different. I'm a fan of that style of game, that the Survivor like whatever they're calling them now. And this is the first one I've ever seen where it's it's a platformer. So it's a cool idea. It's very, very hard because not only are you trying to avoid all the enemies, you're trying to not like fall. You don't get damaged when you fall, but there's always like enemies below you that you just fall on and die and stuff. So there's a lot going on. But it's very interesting and it's very cool. But it's so simple. Like if you're turned off by really simple, like shitty, like art, like that's what this is. Like I like the style of it. It's got it's got a certain something, but it's really just basic hand drawn, So, but yeah, fans of Survivor likes I think will like it because it's different. So, what is it called? Blood Dungeon. No release date, but there is I think a demo still available.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you'd be playing as a baby from like the name of it, the premise of it.
Yeah. And I don't know.
Escape.
I should look. It looks like a baby. I don't know if it's supposed to be a baby. So, but like all the drawing is like really, poorly done. And then the other one, there were a few more that I downloaded, but I only got a chance to try 2 of them. The other demo I tried, it's a game called Virtue and A Sledgehammer. And this is it's from Devolver Digital, and it is like kind of like PSX graphics, maybe a little bit better. It's like that pixel kind of, person. But you just have this sledgehammer and you just go through smashing everything, like buildings, you're just smashing walls down. And it's this world populated by robots. But there's this story that's going through it as well, where you come across things that give you like memories of a time before, and you're asked these questions, like very philosophical questions about what you would do if a friend or family member was going to do something very tragic. What would so I don't know how that kind of works in the demo, but it's fun to just run around with a sledgehammer, smashing the shit out of buildings and robots. And then occasionally, you get like a little snippet of a memory where and you're like, what's happening? So that one, I don't know how long it would be enjoyable for, but it's on my radar. I'm going to keep that on my wish list because as I'm playing it, it was fun to smash robots and smash buildings. But you didn't get any upgrades or new. I don't think you're going to get any new weapons or anything like that. I think you're just going to smash it with the sledgehammer the whole time. So it could run its course very quickly. We'll see though. So
yeah,
Virtue and a Sledgehammer, that one's called.
Maybe the sledgehammer can be upgraded and then you get a rocket sledgehammer or something crazy.
Mm-hmm. I do love a good rocket sledgehammer. And then I got a new game, a little indie game called Beast Breaker. And this is it's like a brick breaker game, which anytime they have take that mechanic and put it in something, I am sold on it. I love like simple like brick breaker games. And this one is cool because it's kind of like an RPG. It's kind of like a roguelike, but your character, instead of having like a ball that bounces around, your character is that. You're like a little tiny like mouse or something with a sword, and each ability you have shows you how many steps it includes. So like say your one ability is like 80 steps. When you attack, it shows you what your direction you're going to bounce, and then you'll go for that 80 steps. And the whole idea is to, you got these big monsters, and within the center of them, so you break the scales around them, the bricks around them, within the center is a thing that has so many hits, and you have to hit it a certain amount of times. It'll regrow the scale. So it's like each battle is like this long battle that like you have to try to figure out by, using different abilities and stuff. It's a really, really cool premise. And for anybody who's a fan of those style of games, old games, or just like simple, different takes on roguelites and stuff, Beastbreaker, it just came out at the end of March. It's awesome. It's really, really cool. There's a lot of content, and I'm having a blast with it. So check it out. Yeah. You ever get down with those Brick Breaker style games?
Just Ball Pit. That's probably the most recent.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's the big one. That's probably the biggest one in recent history. That kind of style of game. Yeah. So this one is it's fun. Look for it on sale. I don't know what the price is. I actually ended up being able to do a trade for it on Reddit.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a sweet game. All right. Anything else?
Let's see. Just real quick, Steam Summer Sale is going on. You see any deep discounts worth mentioning to the people?
I picked up one of the deep discounts, or it's in my cart. I'm waiting to cash out. I'm waiting to add more to it, but also at the same time, I don't want to add more because it's like I keep buying games and then I just never play them. I buy them because they're on sale, and then they sit in my backlog and keep going down in price. And I'm like, I should have waited. But one I am going to pick up, it's the Binding of Isaac bundle. It's only $5. You could get the base Binding of Isaac game for 99 cents, but there's a bundle. It has like Binding of Isaac Rebirth and then like 3 DLCs or something. I think it's only $5. And I played the hell out of that game on the Nintendo Switch years and years ago, and I've been looking for a reason to put it on my Steam Deck. So for $5, I'm going to get that whole thing. The other one I have in my cart is, I have 2 more in my cart, and I'm just trying to determine if I want to get them or not. Esoteric Ebb is on sale, I think, for maybe $17.99. That might be a bundle price. But that's like the CRPG, like fantasy CRPG, but like comedy. I've been wanting that for a while. And then I talk about it all the time, the Scooby-Doo House Flipper DLC is on sale for like $10. And I need to get to work so I can get my blue ribbon achievement thing back. So yeah, I might pick up the House Flipper 2 DLC, but now I'm getting behind now because now they have another DLC that came after that, like a Japanese thing, and they got a Pets DLC coming up. So I feel like I can either tap out now and not have to buy all the DLC, or keep trying. We'll see. Yeah. So, what about you? Anything drawing your eye?
There were a few things in there that I kind of thought about, but nothing I really wanted to pull the trigger on. I think, if there is one that I'm going to pick up on there, it might be Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, because we were just talking about new DLC coming out for that like 11 years later, so there's probably some renewed interest in it. And I don't know if the Steam version looks any better than like PlayStation 4, because I tried to get in on it probably like 2020, when it was already 5 or 6 years old, and I wasn't really feeling it. It already felt dated. But I'm sure there's like mods and things like that to check out on PC. So for like $4 or $5, whatever it was, seems like it'd probably be worth it.
Yeah. The prices on like some of those deep discount things are great. But there's games that most people that have wanted them, they'll have them already. So yeah, I always like those 95% discounts on games. But I don't know if there was, like, I think Rain World is another one that I would get if I didn't already have it. I think that's that one's $2.50. Don't Starve Together is down to $1.34. Hotline Miami's 99 cents. Like, so those are no brainers to me. Like if Wreckfest $2.99. You know, if you want a good physics, smash them up. So yeah, there it is. Put some games in your backlog. That's all it is, really. Pizza Tower. That's another one I keep going back on. I never played Pizza Tower. It's down to 50% off. I think it's $9.99 right now, and I'm just like, man, I really want to play Pizza Tower, but I don't know if I'm gonna. I just got the humble choice. I haven't played any of those games really. I got too many games, and we're gonna talk about what to do with those games on Steam later on this episode. So stick around. But before that, it's time for our new releases from last week. All right, first up, we had Deer and Boy came out June 23rd on PC, PS5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. This is it's a cinematic platformer. There's no dialogue. It's just, you just go through, you're a boy and you got a deer. Hence the title, Deer and Boy. And as you're playing this game, the deer kind of, it grows up and it gets different abilities, and you get this bond with this deer. And as you're playing through, you got to solve puzzles, do these things. And there's it's a moving cinematic experience that, if that sounds exciting to you, if you want to play a game and just kind of feel something, feel an emotion for once in your goddamn life, play Deer and Boy. So yeah, it looks good. I think it's on Game Pass, so I will or it's coming again. I don't know if it's on there or coming. I didn't look. I want to try it though. I want to,
nice. Play
Deer and Boy.
No, I refuse. I will only play Call of Duty and feel nothing.
Yeah. Maybe this is what the doctor ordered. A nice moving experience about your bond with a cute little deer.
Maybe. I hope not.
Sounds delightful. All right, if that's not your thing, and you've got a Nintendo Switch too, you can play Starfox, which came out June 25th. This is a remake of Star Fox 64. You got Fox McCloud, the famous Fox pilot, just flying spaceships. I never played it, so I don't know if you could tell that by my lack of knowledge on this. But I know there's spaceships, and I know there's a fox and stars. That's all I know.
Yes. Well, the only thing where you're a little off is that they are spaceships, but most of the combat happens, I think, near orbit or near the ground. At least that's the way you start off on most of those planets and suns and things like that.
I feel like I've been lied to my whole life. This one does have, so the modes that this one includes, not only is it upgraded visually for the Nintendo Switch 2, it's got a campaign mode that you could play through. You could replay it constantly for higher scores, to battle against your friends. There are challenge modes, and then there's also a battle mode where you can play with your friends and battle against the computer. So, yeah, Star Fox, baby. I think it's at I don't remember. It was middling, maybe an 80 something, maybe less than that on the critics things.
Yeah.
Oh boy, we're struggling here.
I can see it.
Check it out.
I could see it being somewhere in between, because you've got the old school fans who remember the original very fondly, and that's a game where every time you play it, you basically start this whole campaign from the beginning over and over and over again. So if things aren't exactly right, I guess it depends on what the audience is looking for. Do you want an exact copy and you're not getting it, or do you want it to be different enough and it's not different enough?
Yeah,
so I don't know.
And that's the thing.
No,
when it was announced,
happy.
Yes, that was the thing. There was two camps when it was announced. People excited for a new Star Fox, and then people disappointed that it's the same Star Fox. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a Star Fox guy, so I don't give a turkey. But yeah. All right, and that is it for our new releases. Now it's time for our news of the week. Exciting times are among us. Pre-orders have kicked off for GTA 6, it started June 25th, and there are two versions. There's the standard version for $80 and the ultimate version for $100. It was announced for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S and X. No PC version has been announced yet. Other things, let's see. There was no trailer, which we were speculating there was going to be a trailer. No trailer. What were you? Did you feel let down? Were you upset by that?
I'll take it when I can get it. I'm not that hard pressed to have it, but it's going to be kind of cool to see once we do.
Yeah. So regarding the pricing, let's talk about the pricing real fast. We've speculated for months that, what the price is going to be. We're talking maybe $100. And I do feel like, regardless of what I just said, I do feel like the game is $100. If you want the light version of the game, you can pay $80 because the ultimate version has so much content locked behind that $20 upgrade. I feel like, why wouldn't you pay to get that? It doesn't make sense. Hang on. I'm going to read like all the shit you get in the $100 version. You get some vehicles. You get a 67 something or other, a 95 Cheetah. You got a whole new safe house. There's vehicle mod shops, classic car collection, Shih Tzu Squallow. What is that? I don't know, but it's bullet pointed on here. Hawk and Little Morgan revolver. So you're getting different weapons. You're getting personalized weapon variants. There's some sort of compound and a whole bunch of different gear for your characters, different clothing. There's a salon you could go to with different styles, tattoos. So there's all this stuff that comes locked behind that $20. What are your thoughts on this? I know you've been ready to pay $100. I'm assuming that's the one you pre-ordered or are planning to pre-order.
Yeah, I really don't see a point in pre-ordering until we get to the release month. Because again, my only reason for pre-ordering would be to preload it. Get that taken care of. That way I'm ready to play on launch day and not have to wait 3 days for it to download. I plan on buying our 2 copies of the $100 deluxe version. That said, even if I couldn't, pay for that $20 upgrade, I'm not as mad as a lot of people seem to be about this, because I think a lot of people, when they're talking about these features, they're kind of blowing it out of proportion what's going to be locked. Because yes, they do say that there's the car modification, there's going to be a clothing store, there's going to be this and that and tattoos that are locked behind this. But I can almost guarantee you, looking at GTA 5, there's probably going to be 10 different clothing stores. There's probably going to be your standard car customization, and maybe just a little bit of it is locked behind that upgraded version, which down the road, if you decide you bought the $80 version and you decide that you want those extra features, you're ready to unlock them, I'm sure there's going to be a $20 upgrade kit or whatever that lets you have that in the future. So you're never really locked out of it. And this, the bigger thing for me comes back to the argument of DLC prepared before the game is even released or at the release of the game. And I think that's essentially what we're talking about. If you don't look at it as a deluxe edition and you look at it as DLC, a lot of games launch with a lot of paid DLC ready to go with features of the game behind it. So I don't think this is anything new. I don't think it's anything that I'm really worried about setting a precedent on, because the precedent is already set. And if games like, Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, these games that feel a little bit rinse and repeat every year or every other year, if those developers start doing this as well, I'm not going to buy it, and nobody should. And I think, they can think that the precedent is set by Rockstar for their games as well, but I don't think that's true. I think Rockstar, I think I said this last week, but Rockstar and GTA are the exception to the rule. This is where I'm willing to spend $100 if that's what the base game costs, because the game cost $1 billion to make. I'm willing and ready to spend a little bit more to get a little bit more, whatever we got to do.
Yeah, I think that's a fair take on it, especially when I mean, so many people were expecting that high price point to begin with. Now, granted, if you just want to get in this world and play that world, like $80 is, I think it's a very, very reasonable price considering they could have done a lot differently. It could have been more, and people would still have paid more. The highest selling item this week on PlayStation was GTA 6. Like already, like it's happening. There are people scalping the digital reservation of this game, which is insane. Because at one point it said sold out, and I think that's what happened. And people are like, "Oh, it's sold out." Okay, so this brings me to my second point that people are really pissed off about. There's no disc. If you want the physical version, you could buy it. You'll get a case and you'll get a download code, which makes no sense to me. I think it's the dumbest thing ever. Why are we printing plastic just to for people to get a stupid code? I don't get it. I get you want to gift it to somebody, whatever. That's the way to do it. But it doesn't make sense to me. But people are mad about that. People, and rightfully so, I feel. Especially we're seeing constantly games being removed from our libraries and stuff that we own. So I get people's being upset. Now, me, I'm a digital person. I like to buy games digitally. I don't like to get up and have to put the disc in and hear my PlayStation going wee, it's whirring up. Just give me the digital copy. Most of the time you put the disc in there, it downloads the whole thing onto your system already, and then it just plays it from your system in a digital file anyways. So for me, I'm fine with it, but I get people that are fans of physical copies of things being upset about that. What is your thoughts on that?
I don't know. Was the move maybe to do the card, like how you get a Roblox gift card or Fortnite V-Bucks, have that printed card that has a license to the game as soon as it's registered at the checkout or something, rather than the box? Because is that what's pissing people off? I don't really know. There's rumors from some insider that in the months after they will have a physical release, they want to be able to have a physical release before Christmas. That way, like you said, if you're giving it to somebody, then you can do that. It worked just as well with the code. The only thing that I'm kind of upset about that move being that you can't resell that, I'm sure. They're not going to allow you to use that code more than once, so it is locked to that account once you activate it on there. And I think that kind of sucks because we're talking about, they keep talking about the PlayStation 6, the Xbox Project Helix, all this stuff that they're trying to cram down our throats way too soon into this console generation. And I've got my own, bitching to do about that. But when that's right around the corner, what I did with my Xbox 360 versions when I sold the Xbox 360s was I sold that game somewhere along the way. And I got my new physical copies. And when I stopped playing on Xbox, I sold that game. And I got the PlayStation version. So on and so forth.
Nice.
Now, I never had that option on Steam or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Rockstar Launch or whatever. I had the PC version as well. I never had that option, but I'm not crying about it. I would have bought the digital version anyway because my PS5 Pro doesn't even have the disk drive attachment. At least not yet. So I was always going to buy digital more than likely because I know this is a game I'm going to be playing 5 years in the future, no problem.
Sure.
Which, that being said, one point I'll circle back to that I forgot to say in the last rant. A lot of people conflating GTA Online with the single-player version when they're talking about being locked out of this stuff. You're going to be walking down the street and certain people they're not going to let you into the store while your buddy walks into the store because he paid $20 more. I don't think any of this pertains to GTA Online, whatever version of it is going to come out in the future, because I'm pretty sure it's not coming with the launch of the game. I think they've made that clear. All this stuff is just the single player. So if you really want that DLC content for the single player, you can pay that extra $20 now or in the future. I think it's all blown out of proportion.
Yeah, I agree. Because initially, there was talk of there being missions that were locked out of that Ultimate Edition. Who knows, ultimately what is going to be featured in that, if it is just cosmetics and that sort of thing. But, I think, at this point, just go for it. Just go for it. I mean, you know you want to do it. Pay that extra $20. Get that Ultimate Edition. In relation to what you said about a possible physical copy coming down the line, I did see there was a response to that saying that there are no plans for that. I think like what that initial rumor was coming from someone talked on service and they said a physical copy. And I think that does mean this case. You know, they never mentioned a physical disc, but they did say a physical copy will be coming down. So again, we'll wait and see if there's a lot of pushback on this. Maybe they'll do that. And it's funny because like other companies like Insomniac has come out and said Wolverine's going to be on a disc. Like, don't worry, because there's been so much upheaval about this and the future of gaming and what this means for gaming. Is it going entirely digital and that sort of thing? So yeah, we'll see. But there was no trailer, but they did show a bunch of screenshots. And again, like the screenshots were so heavily like detailed and stuff. I don't know. There's a lot of like speculation if those are actually from the game or not, because they're very, very high definition screenshots. So like, again, we just gotta wait and see. Hopefully we'll get a new trailer soon. I'm at the point now where we're talking about it enough. I want more content. We've had 2 trailers. I would like a third one between now and I don't know, in a couple months at least. Keep me like excited for this. But people are excited. Like I said, it's the number 1 selling thing on PlayStation. I think I was reading somewhere that it's selling 6-1 PlayStation versus Xbox. Like, so that's the place to get it, to have it, to play it. And then again, no news on if it's going to be coming to PC or at what date. So again, we'll just have to wait and see on that. So, but it's happening, man. It's happening. Finally, you know, we've been waiting for this information for a long time, talking about how long have we been talking about the price for GTA 6? Like years, you know? Yeah. So, it's finally getting close. So, you know, save your leave time for your jobs for November 15th or whatever the hell day it comes out. It is going to be fun. And then some more long-awaited news dropped this week. The Steam machine is finally available. And again, this is another thing we've been speculating on price for years. And we finally got price, and it is disappointing to say the least. For the 512 gigabyte machine, it's $1,049 US. For the 512 plus the Steam controller, it's $1,128 US. For the 2 terabyte, $1,349. And for the 2 terabyte with the Steam controller, $1,428 US dollary dues. That's a lot. That's a lot of money for a box that is less powerful than all of the consoles. I think it's less powerful than the Switch too. But it plays your Steam games. So when they first announced the price, I was like, absolutely not. I'm not doing it. But man, I really, really want it. I want it so bad, dude. Like it's tough. Like the idea of being able to just flawlessly, seamlessly play my Steam library on my television at a decent, graphic fidelity was really exciting. But then over $1,000, it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow. What do you think?
Right. You kind of have to ask the question, what are you buying this for? If it's to play Steam games, you can do that for the same amount of money or less on a better system that you either buy pre-built. That's an option. They're selling pre-built systems at Walmart now for a decent price with all the same components that you would use to build it yourself. So that exists elsewhere. That problem's already solved. What you're not going to get going with like a regular PC versus the Steam machine is it feeling like a console. It coming out of the box, you hooking a couple wires up, and you don't have to worry about drivers. You don't have to worry about all the hoops you jump through when you set up a new PC or you're just simply running Windows on a PC. You could go get a gaming PC, put it in Steam Big Picture mode, and have a very console-like experience with a controller on your TV all the time. And that's going to work for some people. So what are people buying it for? And then is it the best solution for what you're trying to buy it for? And at that price, like I can't believe they say they're very purposely not subsidizing the price of this machine and making that. I mean, that's what we've always heard that Xbox does and everybody else. They sell it to you at a loss because they're going to make up for that 10 times over all the games that you're buying on it through the lifespan of it. And apparently they're not going to do that. I think this would have made a lot of sense for Steam of all platforms to do that.
Yeah. I mean, even like, it's not a lot, but even if you offer it, I think under $1,000, if you offer it at $9.99, that visual looks so much different. Under $1,000, you know, like the fact that they couldn't even get under $1,000 for this by subsidizing it a little bit seems crazy to me for that base model. I read someone posted that you could go buy a PlayStation 5 and a Nintendo Switch 2 for both of them for the same cost as this Steam machine, which is, when you put it in a perspective like that, it's pretty crazy. So yeah, right now there is like a lottery reservation system. Basically, you know, you got to reserve your copy in a queue, and then at some point they'll accept your payment and then ship something out. Shipping is starting soon, I think at the end of this month. Right now, like, there are scalpers selling those reservations for double the cost of the Steam machine that they're asking, which is insane. It's insane to me. But yeah, we talk about them subsidizing it. Initially, the price was supposed to be before all this bullshit with memory and RAM and stuff like that. It was supposed to be $750, and I think that's a reasonable price. I think that if that came out, I would have without question bought one for $750 because it just makes sense. But I do want to read, like, there was a quote from Valve talking about why they didn't even consider subsidizing it real fast. They said, we think of Steam Machine as an extension of PC gaming, not as a console. The traditional console model is to sell hardware at a loss and make up the revenue with subscription services or by selling games that are locked into the hardware. We think this can make sense for a single business in the short term, but that open ecosystems are better for customers over the long term. PC gaming's history proves this. The openness of the PC gaming space has enabled it to be the primary driver of hardware and software innovation for decades. The strength of PC gaming is the ability to play the games you want on the hardware you want. Steam Machine is a solution to these problems, and we think it's a great one, but it's not the only solution, and we don't want it to be. So, they're thinking of it as a different model, but still, like, I mean, I don't know how much of an amount that they take for every purchase through Steam. But you got to think that if people started getting, I mean, with me, when I first got my Steam Deck and first introduced to the Steam world, Steam operating system, dude, it was, I don't know how many years ago now, 5 years ago. I have 530 games on Steam, within a few years. So I've definitely spent a bunch of money there. So like, and they could do that again with people in the console world that just want to go on there, look at the Steam sale and be like, wow, I could buy 50 games for, I don't know. It seems like it should have been an answer to the question of, why is this so expensive? But also, what can we do about it? And all this shit talking, dude, I feel like I may, like, if I have, like, maybe I get like a bonus or something at my job, or I sell something on eBay, like, I may just try to grab one when they're more readily available, if they become more readily available. I don't even know how many. They didn't say how many they're making. Maybe they made 50 of them. Yeah. Who knows? But goddamn, I do really want one.
Yeah. Is it the console experience for you? Like, is that your main reasoning for going with
I
that
think
over
that's it.
like a pre-built
Yeah.
PC?
I think that's it. Like the idea, I even thought about it. I'm like, man, I wonder if I could build this box for a fraction of that price. I don't know, what goes into it. But the idea of like when I have my Steam Deck and like there's an update, I just hit one button. I don't have to worry about updating anything else on it. It's just there. It just says, hey, update this. It does it. And then I'm playing a game again. I don't know what goes into any of these other systems and what would go into having something that I built and I need to constantly maintain myself, So that's a big part of it. The ease of use, the simplicity of it. But how much of a price difference do you think it would be to build something similar yourself versus what they're asking?
There are a few YouTubers who have done a Gamers Nexus, and I think maybe Linus Tech Tips be a couple big ones that I think have tried to do that exact same thing, like build the Steam Deck specs into a PC. And I don't remember what the price tag ends up being, or then they'll try to do one like outperform the Steam Deck for less money.
Yeah.
I don't have the Steam Deck or the Steam machine specs right off. If I were to take a ballpark stab at it, I would think you'd want to be somewhere in the like 70 series graphics cards, and that's about $600 for the graphics card. They always say that if your graphics card is going to be half the price of your machine. So if you bought everything else to be about $600 and $600, you're at $1,200 and you're outperforming the Steam machine. So I don't know if you took it a step back, you go with a 60 series graphics card for maybe like $400 somewhere in there, wherever those are right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then $400. So you end up with an $800 machine. I don't know if that'd be on par. It just, it'd be hard to get an exact match.
So it's not, like you couldn't build something like this for half. You couldn't build like for $600, right? So
I wouldn't say half. No.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it does. Because a lot of times, I mean, previously, like you look at years ago when all this shit made more sense, where you could easily build something equally as powerful if you just put the work into it and took that. But now there's such a small, room for any difference. Yeah. They really are like these companies really are just trying to break even on these consoles.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I don't really know where it's going right now. It doesn't look great for consoles. The whole purpose of the console used to be you had that heavy computing that was creating the games, but people couldn't afford those computers to run the games. So you had that console just to play it. You had the hardware to play it. And then we've just gotten closer and closer and closer to reaching the mark where now you just want that powerful PC that can run the powerful game. And the console is making less and less sense. I think it's why PCs are starting to turn into consoles, and consoles are starting to turn into more like PCs.
Yeah, that line is getting really blurry. Along these lines, we got to talk about Xbox. I mean, we can't go a week without shitting on Xbox a little bit, and we have more reason for that. They are raising the price of consoles yet again. So last October they raised the Xbox console price by $20, $70. And now they're going big. They're raising the price of consoles, $100 for the 512 gigabyte models and $150 for the 1 terabyte models. And then they're sunsetting the 2 terabyte models. So, pretty crazy. This goes into effect August 1st. So you've got a month if you want to get an Xbox. Get it now before the large price increase, $100 per. They put out a statement. They said, we hoped another price increase would not be necessary, and we have spent the last several months working with suppliers on options. Unfortunately, console storage and memory prices have increased by more than 2.5 times, and we expect another doubling by the fall of 2027. The entire consumer electronics industry is struggling with the current components crisis, but the effects are particularly hard on consoles. Unlike phones, computers, speakers, and other consumer devices, consoles are typically not sold at a profit, but instead for less than they cost to make. Very similar to what we were talking about. But they are offering some programs. If you want to take part of these, they have a buy now, pay later program to break up the payments into, or break up the lump sum into payments over an interest-free period, which is very cool. They have interest-free financing for up to 12 months. And then also they're offering previously played consoles and refurbished consoles at a lower price directly through Xbox. So, they're trying to combat this, but again, man, it's a tough place to be in the video game market. Again, they're saying it's going to double again by 2027. And then industry analysts are even saying that they're expecting this to continue until 2030 at the least. So, man, I don't know what this means for any of this shit PC gaming, console gaming across the board. But yeah, man, $100. It's a big jump.
Yes, it is. It's all a big jump. Good Lord. Have you shopped around Walmart or Target or anything in the electronics section, the gaming section lately?
No, I haven't.
I see ridiculous prices on the storage for the consoles. It's the little M.2 drives. They're great. Yeah. They're fast. At a certain point, maybe we can take a step back and go to the older SSD format. It's not going to be as fast. It's not going to be as good. We're going to have a USB to use it on a console. But I don't know. When I see a price tag of $400 or $500 in the store for a few terabytes of storage, and they're talking about now they're not even going to have the 2 terabyte model. You're going to have to bring your own storage if you want to be able to have GTA 6 and another game on it.
Right.
It's a little silly.
That is. That's another question. How big of a file do you think GTA 6 is going to be?
Over 100 gigs easily, but I don't know what the biggest game is right now. If anybody's top 200 gigs yet.
I know, Call of Duty has always been that one where it's you could put that on your system and that's it. You could have that in one other game maybe. So I'm expecting a big file size for GTA. So yeah, man, it's this whole market is crazy. It's scary what the industry is going to look like in a few years, what this means for the next generation of consoles. And just the industry as a whole. So, because this is all things said, video gaming is not a necessity. It's a hobby. It's a luxury. And at a certain point when people can say, I'm going to buy a video game or I'm going to buy food, that's when, things are going to struggle. So yeah, man, we'll see, but, something needs to change. And I don't see these, the AI data centers slowing down anytime soon. So a huge portion of the materials needed are going to them and stuff. So we'll see.
And AI is its own thing. There's a lot of arguments about that, but not every data center is even AI. It's the platforms we use every day. So using AI or not, we're all kind of guilty of wanting to scroll TikTok and getting a video quickly, Facebook and everything else. We need a lot of data, we need a lot of storage, we need a lot of bandwidth to make all that possible. And we're all guilty of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's everything. It's the tariffs. It's the Strait of Hormuz. It's everything is just adding up and creating. It's the scarcity of the resources to make these. It's definitely, it's a lot of factors going into this. And it's hurting us. It's hurting the gamer. But, we'll see where it goes from here. All right. And then let's end it up with a little bit more shitty news. And this was expected. We've been talking about it for a little bit, but it's finally happened. Bungie has been hit by layoffs, significant layoffs they're saying. So now we knew, like, when Destiny 2, put out its final update, we speculated that they were gonna, that team was gonna be let go. So let me just read the note from Herman Holst, the head of Bungie, in an internal memo. He said, this is painful news, especially for talented colleagues whose roles have been eliminated. This decision was made only after extensive discussion and careful consideration, and I want to provide some context on how we arrived here. Over the past several months, together with Bungie leadership, we reviewed the studio's long-term direction, development priorities, resource needs, and role within our broader portfolio strategy. We explored multiple alternatives before concluding that a reduction was necessary to align the studio's resources with its current priorities and long-term goals. So yeah, then it gets into like what they have planned for, initially for Destiny 2, and then saying Marathon remains an important part of our portfolio, and we will continue to support the team as they're building on the strong foundation established in Season 1 and 2. Expected, but still bummer. Yeah, man. I don't know. We talk about it every week, it seems. This industry is in a weird place, and it's got to be tough out there to be a developer or just pretty much anybody in this industry, other than us who are outside looking in, just talking shit about it. So yeah.
You really don't expect it to be like the Giants, because if you would have said 15, 20 years ago when Halo and Halo 2, Halo 3 was just seemed unstoppable and Bungie behind it all, that they'll never go downhill. But, here we are.
Yeah, man. And especially when you talk about, like, it always happens with these big, like when Bungie, like Sony bought Bungie, and it's like, now it's like, it's not just about gaming. It's about their portfolio, their bottom line, like the boardroom of directors trying to save money. And we're seeing it so much so with Xbox and the studios that they're buying and then now letting go. It's more about those cost cutting measures and less about, hey, let's put out a great game. So it was always cool initially. I remember years ago when when Sony buys these studios and it's like, wow, this is great. They're going to give them the funds that they need to make Destiny great or make these other games great. And then ultimately all that happens is they just close them. You're not making us enough money. So unfortunately you're going to have to be let go. And I don't know, it's just so disheartening to think that, especially, can you imagine if you're in that thing and you're like, holy shit, we just got bought by Xbox. We just got bought by Sony. We're in a good place. These multi-billion-dollar companies now own us and they're going to take care of us. And then all they do is say, hey, you didn't do enough. Sorry, you're let go now. Like, it's crazy, man. What a roller coaster. I can't imagine it. So, yeah. So hopefully, they take good care of them. I know they've got some good severance packages for them. So hopefully they could get a job in this, maybe leave the industry, maybe go work somewhere else, get into cybersecurity or something, man. Like, because video game development is scary. It's a scary place. So hopefully they can bounce back and figure out what the hell they need to do. But
go indie. Go indie. Work on something you're passionate about, because it seems to be working out for a lot of people.
Right?
Not everybody. There's a lot of stuff, and we get the shotgun smattering and the cream rises to the top. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah, for every one, like Balatro, there's 10,000 games that go completely unnoticed. So yeah, it's tough, but I do think, if you have the means, the current climate is the best for a good indie game that comes out, so absolutely. All right, that is all I've got on my list here. You got anything else?
No, only other thing I wanted to mention, free on Epic Games this week, Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, like Gold Ultimate something another edition. That looks like a fun one. I've claimed it, added it to my library. One of these days, I'm sure I'll get around to downloading it and actually playing it. But I love those Tycoon games. Yeah. And that's going to be a fun throwback to play.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Go check that out. Also, go check out YouTube. Pop Culture Playground is the name of the channel. That's where you'll find this show. Make sure you subscribe there, and you will get to see all the fun video game trailers that we've been talking about. Maybe less so this time. Now it's just sad images of people getting laid off. That's what I'm just going to include in the video over here. Yeah. Just real sad stuff. But for those moments, why not check out the podcast? Anywhere podcasts are found, you type in GNW into any podcast provider and you'll have this show right there. Make sure you subscribe and then you'll have it ready for you on the go. And you can listen to your heart's content over and over again. Just for fun. Just for funsies. And then check us out on TikTok. We got a bunch of clips of stuff going up there now. And that is everything. Did I forget anything? It's time for bed.
Don't think so. Yeah.
I made it through. Do I look sleepy? I feel very sleepy. It's been I've just, it's been in the sun, like drinking in the sun on an 85-degree day is not, it's not good for me. Look at me. I'm a fair boy. I'm a fair ginger, and I can't be doing that. So I'm gonna pretend to go play video games, but I'm just gonna go take a nap. So yeah. All right. Let's get out of here. Thank you so much. We will see you next week with more, hopefully lighter, more exciting video game news. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.